to you today is called Just Show Up, right? And it's about the importance of networking, marketing, fighting fear. All of that is, within the same thing. And I'm sure you'll hear it from Brito 1,000 times over. Go network, go to events. David's going to tell you too. You're going to have guest speakers in here who will tell you the same thing. But I just want to share my experience with you. So, who's here? Do we have introverts? Who's an introvert? Okay. Do we have extroverts? Do we have combos? What makes you a combo? Anybody?
Depends where I'm drinking.
Okay. Great answer. What's your name?
Yamil.
Namil?
Yamil.
Yamil. Okay, great, Yamil. Anyone else? What makes you a combo? Burrito?
I love talking to people, but sometimes, people annoy me.
That's not true.
Yeah, sure.
Or you just leave when you're done. You get enough business cards and you're out of there. Yeah, I know that feeling. I was trying to meet Brito at the, what was it, Unbound? And I was like, hey, are you still here? No, I left right after lunch. So he was out. Okay, so cool. That's just a little survey for me to know. This is me. My name's Emily Cleary. I'm a full-time human, part-time everything else. And my story, I just want to let you know a little bit about me. So I did the UX UI program with David over here. David, India was in my class too. From June to August, right? It was an amazing experience. I ended up here through kind of it was what seemed like a natural progression. So my background, I have a bachelor's in sociology and business, and I have a master's in sociology. I taught at university level at FAU and at Broward College. I was also a writing tutor at FAU. And then I got an accounting job. Great for some people, great for the world, not great for me. Way too boring. And then I moved into the job that I still currently have now. I started as a conceptual designer, so basically what I did was I wrote scripts for large companies and set up visuals in Photoshop, right? After 3 or 4 months, they promoted me to a content marketing manager. I moved to Germany. I lived there for 6 months. Amazing experience living in Berlin. I recommend you go there if you've never been. And I was doing that for a while, and then I know Danny Rodriguez very well. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He's the one who just got started at Google in California. He's a legend here. So I knew him very well. I saw him go through the program firsthand. He's like, Emily, you need to do this. There's an Uber scholarship. I love what I'm doing, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you have the research background. So whatever would have you, I applied, and I got in, and now I'm done. And I'm doing UX design. So that was sort of my path to UX. Other than that, I'm originally from New York, and I'm a singer. So I'm a musician outside of this life. Nights and weekends, that's what I'm doing. So these are just some things that I want to go over today. Networking, marketing, listening, portfolio, hustle and time management, and then fighting fear. Okay? First thing, 70 to 85% of people find their jobs through networking. So that's not through Indeed, that's not through Career Builder, that's networking, who you know, right? And actually, 80% of your jobs are not listed. And this is called the hidden job market, right? A lot of jobs, people are finding them through their recommendations, through people that they know. Actually, 40% of new hires are from internal referrals. And all this information is from PayScale. I can send you the article if you want to see it. So a lot of the ways that you get your jobs, for example, take Brito, right? He will recommend you for a job. So someone will say, hey, Brito, do you have a dev that is good at React and can start in the next 2 weeks? Yeah, I have these 3 people. And that's how you get recommended, and that's how you get the job, right? So that's the hidden job market. The job description, whatever application, doesn't even go online. It just goes to Brito, and then someone gets hired. So that's why networking is super important. You should really make yourself known, and it's about putting yourself out there and not fearing doing that. So, networking at events. Like I said, just show up, put yourself out there. Go alone, who cares? You have a whole tech community. You can go with anybody here who's going to go with you. And everyone's there doing the same thing that you're doing, right? So if you go to Venture Cafe on a Thursday for their pitch night or whatever it is that they have at Venture Cafe, everyone is there doing the same thing that you're doing. So they want to make contacts, they want to meet people, they want to let other people know who they are. And introverts might be freaking out right now. Okay, I don't like to talk to people. This is not who I am. I'd rather just reach out to people online. Introverts actually can do networking really well. You just have to come with a plan. So say you're an introvert and like, holy crap, what am I going to do? I'm not ready to do this. So visualize it in your head. right? And go with a goal. So have questions that you want to ask already, have a conversation that you want to start, and then also, so your goal is, okay, I'm going to get 3 business cards, I'm going to give out 3 business cards, and then I'm going to get the hell out of there. And that's your goal, and then you've networked, right? And you let 3 people know who you are. And I'm going to give you a little bit more about how to do this. So, here's a play-by-play. So, you're going to introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Emily, right? So, I don't know you. Hey, I'm Emily. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Jaime.
Jaime. What do you do, Jaime?
I study web.
You study web development?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you like web development?
I love coding.
You love coding. Awesome. What were you doing before this?
I studied psychology.
Studied psychology. That actually has a lot to do with coding, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Depends. Yeah.
Cool. See? Very easy to start a conversation. Even if you're completely wrong. Who knows? I don't know. Psychology is more UX, actually. Yeah, of course. I was thinking UX. It's not that much coding, but it's simple. Just start a conversation. If you don't recognize somebody in the room, what's going on over there? Hey, you have great shoes on. My name is Paula. So then you find things in common with that person, or just have questions to ask them. Give them your business card. If you don't have a business card, use LinkedIn. I'm a super fan of LinkedIn. I know you need to have one if you're in this program. And so if you don't use it, let it become your favorite social network. It's mine. And it really helps you with a lot of things. So connect with that person on LinkedIn. So what I like to do, a lot of the times, well, I have Sprint, so it only works when it wants to, right? And I'm hoping that with this T-Mobile merger that it'll get better. But anyway, besides the point. So I meet David fast ahead of an event, right? I start talking to David, hey David, here's my card, but I also want to get you on LinkedIn. I search David fast, he doesn't pop up because I have crappy service. So what I do is I take a screenshot of David's photo, whatever, even if I did get to add him. And I take screenshots of everybody that I meet during the night. And I take mental notes of what we talked about. And then at the end of the night, after every event, I message those new contacts. Hey David, it was great to meet you. I'd love to learn about your experience in France and your cute little daughter Kennedy. And I hope to see you at an event soon. Simple. Just something to make them remember you. And then you create a tech contact sheet. And Rito might have talked about this too. I know he has one. Do it. Most people don't do it. I'm going to tell you 9 out of 10 don't do it. But I have one, and it looks just like Rito's. It looks just like that. And I always add all my new contacts. So these are all the people that I've met. So basically it's the person's name, where I met them, what they do, or like where they work, and then little things that I remember about them. So it doesn't even have to be professional. Grandfather's Italian, moved from Venezuela, interested in UX, talk to him on the phone, just like different things like that. You never know when these people could come in to your life and you need someone or you want to recommend someone, right? So the more you give, the more you get. If someone needs a recommendation and you can recommend that person, you'll likely get recommended by that same person for a future opportunity. And it just gives you a boost sort of within the tech community, which is generally very small here in Miami, but it's growing. Anybody know that guy? Does that look familiar? What about that? Not that one, right? Not so much. So I'm showing these to say, content is king. So at my current job, I'm a UX designer / content marketing manager, right? I've been a content marketing manager for 3 years. On the side, as my freelance work, I'm a UX consultant / product designer, conceptual designer, copywriter, so I do various things. But Bill Gates said this in '96, and he was actually talking about like internet, sort of, the birth of the internet and how content is going to be king in this new online realm that was becoming so popular during that time. And he was right. And you can take this and apply it in a different way. So content, all of those memes and gifs that I showed you, all that's content, right? And that's so popular among so many people. Especially people, within sort of our age range. We sort of see it first. A lot of viral content starts its virality actually on Reddit, if you didn't know that. So Reddit is a lesser used social network. The UI is really not that great, but it was made for developers. And that's actually where a lot of this content starts. So you want to take content and you want to use it to market yourself. So this is where I want to talk about marketing yourself on LinkedIn, right? So what I was doing when I was in Ironhack, I was attending tons of events, Always taking pictures of them, writing down my main insights after the events. I was always taking videos as well. So when a guest speaker came in, I was taking pictures of them. I was taking pictures of little things in Ironhack that I liked, like the quote on the wall, or like this lit up at night, or just like random things, right? Just content. That if you can build a message around a photo, it means something, right? So words mean something to us. We can put that into our head and apply some psychology towards it. So you can post anything. So photos, videos, insights, thoughts, experiences, so like a series. So the week after Ironhack that I finished, I was like, oh no, boo-hoo, I'm done with Ironhack, now let's go back to real life. And I did a series, hashtag thanks Ironhack, right? So that was every day I did something else. So like my fob, I took a picture of my fob here, took a picture, and I posted it like, I don't know what I wrote, but I did a thanks Ironhack series. Use your hashtags, this helps you become noticed. It's all about visibility, really, that's what content is. Helps you get noticed. So I was scheduling all my posts. So on the weekend, I would use Hootsuite. It's free to use. It's not my favorite. There's things that you can't do on it, like on the phone. You can't like tag people for some reason, and you can't upload multiple pictures. But that's the one that I found to be the best, even though it had some downfalls. So I was scheduling my posts on Saturdays or Sundays for the entire week. So I post Monday through Friday, because that's when it's most visible on LinkedIn. If you look up the statistics, that's what you'll find. From like 9 to 5, normal working hours. And so I was scheduling all of my posts. So I would always vary. So like I would do a photo one day, and then maybe just some insights the next day, and then an article on UX the day after that, and then maybe a video or like something like that. You don't want to post like 5 videos in a row. Just have your content in a variety. And then once you have your posts scheduled, of course, if you're going to use Hootsuite, make sure you go in, tag people, tag locations. It just helps with the visibility. Engagement is really important. So tell this is your cohort, right? Like, devs, you might not know UXers. I know you guys are still fairly new. Like, it's what, week 3? Mm-hmm. Week 3, yeah. But you'll become familiar with each other. Like each other's posts. Comment on them. It allows you to become more visible. Comment on other people's posts. People start adding you from there, except everybody on LinkedIn. Everybody. You never know who they might be, what they might need, who they can connect you to, just accept them. Premium, try the free trial, especially when you're getting ready to look for your jobs, right? And during career week, it's like a 30-day free trial. And it's totally worth it. You can see different things when you're searching for people doing the Boolean searches, and you can message people who otherwise would be private. Totally worth trying out. You can just cancel if you don't want to continue. It's a little pricey. And then just be consistent. When I say updates, I mean updating your actual LinkedIn page. So if you've got a new freelance opportunity, update your page. If you feel like you wrote a better description of what you're doing, update it. It's not that hard to do. It's just be consistent with it, because that's how people can find you. Listen to your guest speakers. Okay, so the rules have changed since I've been here. But okay, so there was no rule before to close your laptops. So it's great that they've enforced that rule. But let me tell you, I don't know what it was, but what people in my cohort, even some of the best people in the cohort, did not listen to the guest speakers. And they bring in the guest speakers for a reason. They're here to tell you something valuable that even if you don't know it, or if you do know it, excuse me, you don't know me, right? And so now we know each other, we can all connect on LinkedIn, and maybe I can help you with an opportunity or something like that. So that's why they're bringing us here. And my whole point about this, so I remember specifically, there was one guy who came in, and he was here, he's giving his presentation. There was 22 kids in our class, I think, 20 or 22, big class. And I guarantee you, 19 of them were on their laptops, just like not paying attention at all, not even looking at him, not asking questions, totally disengaged. First of all, it's, okay, you're obviously not paying attention. Maybe you have something else to do. If you have something else to do, don't go to the talk. Like, go somewhere else, go in a private office if you really have something that pressing. That's okay, I understand that. Otherwise, it's just a little bit rude, to the speaker. And if you're not asking any questions, like you're totally disengaged, and it's like, well, why are you even there? I mean, you don't always have to ask a question, but at least understand the information and pay attention to it. So let me give you an example. So I was doing all that. I was taking notes actively. I was not on my laptop. I was looking at him the whole entire time, asking a ton of questions. I actually got a freelance project with him because of that. So I reached out to him, I think, for mentorship or something. I'm not afraid to reach out to people. You have to, let that fear go, and I'll talk to you about that too. I reached out to him. I ended up getting a freelance project for Adobe, and was just doing content creation, right, like conceptual design. But now I have that on my portfolio. It started off my, freelance career, and it's just experience. I learned a lot from that, and just because I was paying attention to him during the guest speaking. So also portfolios. So this is all about like networking, right? Getting hired. Show who you are, right? So don't be afraid to put some attitude in your copy and understand. How people understand who you are. Born at a very young, profound, right? Just like little things that Danny has on here. Playing Pokemon, licking the last cookie so my sister couldn't eat it. Just be personable. Create some rapport with people who are even just looking at your profile. If people just look at you and you're just kind of bland, it's like, okay, what's the culture fit? Is there a culture fit here? Should I hire them? Should I work with them as a freelancer? Like, just let them in before you even speak to them. And I also have mine here. So I talk about, so I'm Emily Cleary, right? I can see clearly now. That was always a running joke when I was a kid. And I also have some like personality in mine. Born as Emily Cleary, so go by Emily Cleary. Just little things like that. And talk about acai bowls, petting random people's dogs. Always have a picture of yourself, that show sort of who you are. I was a traveler for a long time, lived for years. Went to a lot of places, very fortunate to have been able to do that. Something actually I wanted to show you about Danny is that I just remembered, so he has like a secret part of his website, right? So you keep going down.
That's engaging.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Stop. Just a little thing, it just shows like who he is. Like, oh, he's really a dog lover. Like he created a whole part of his website on himself that you wouldn't even know about unless you really took the time to look for it. Just little things like that. So yeah, let your portfolio show who you are. Hustle. Okay, so sometimes hustle. When I looked at the word hustle, it was like this really negative connotation, and that's not how I mean it. Like, don't go around hustling people. Okay, don't do that. That's not cool. When I say hustle, I mean like go after it. Like I'm originally from New York, right? I got this like New York minute kind of thing about me, and always going after different opportunities. And time management is key. So during our cohort, one of the girls came up with a phrase, and I won't say the full phrase, but you can figure it out. It's TMF.
Oh, yeah.
Time is a mother. Yes. But it can be your friend, right? So, understand how to manage your time. Does anyone have time management issues in here? Or it's just not your strongest point? No. It's okay. It's okay. First you want to recognize it, right? That's the first thing. And once you recognize it as a weakness of yours, then you can actively work on making it a strength, or at least making it less of a weakness, right? So for example, when I was in full-time, I did full-time cohort, I also worked a full-time job. And there was somebody else in my cohort who did the same thing. So I basically had an agreement with my job that I would work like 2 to 3 hours a day. I was here at 6 a.m. almost every morning. And I left during project weeks. I left at 11 p.m. and 12 a.m., but that's another story. But like on the regular, I was leaving around 7 or 8 p.m. because I would just always want to get my homework done here. If we had homework, just an easier space to be in than going home and seeing my bed and wanting to lay on it and things like that. So learn how to manage your time. Like you are doing this for you, right? You're doing this to create a better future for yourself, or to change your career, or to learn something, right? Like why are you doing this program? Anybody, What made you decide to do Ironhack? Yeah.
I wasn't happy with what I was doing. I wanted to do something more creative.
More creative. What were you doing before?
Banking.
What was it?
Banking.
Banking.
Paperwork.
Okay. Right. So you're doing this for you, right? To change your career, to find some more happiness in what you do every day. And I'm sure that's the case for a lot of you. So just put this first, right? This is what you signed up for. Put it first. It's not that long. I'm telling you, it's going to go by so quickly. So quickly. I couldn't believe the 9 weeks were done when they were done. And like I said, never put all your eggs in one basket. So chase all those opportunities. Go on all the interviews you can. Even if it's just for practice. Even if you're not looking for a job, go on the interview. Like, it's great practice. You learn what people ask you. You learn what you have to say to get into a certain kind of position or a certain kind of establishment. Okay, so fighting fear. This is my favorite one. So I actually used to be very fearful of doing this kind of thing, of networking. I was never really afraid of public speaking, right? Because I'm a performer, so I'm a singer, and like, I'll tell you, I had to actually fight fear over the weekend, right? So I've done like a lot of holiday parties. I have one in Connecticut in December, Orlando, all around for companies. But I did my first wedding over the weekend, right? And I can tell you that I was having a panic attack. I was so nervous for whatever reason, like I've never sang before in my life. And to me, I was nervous, right? Nobody else was nervous. It was just me. So it's all in your head. Nobody else is nervous around you. And I was nervous because I'm like, oh my God, this is someone's wedding. I'm singing someone's wedding song. Like, this is their night. They paid a lot of money for this. And all these thoughts going in my head. It's like, Emily, you're a professional. This is what you do. You've done this for X many years now. And I had to get over that, So once I finally got there, everything was totally fine. It was not a disaster. It was just like another day. It just happened to be someone's wedding. So really understand the way that you, the perspective that you have in your head, right, versus what it actually is. I'm a fan of writing, right? So I'm a writer, I guess that part. I write things down all the time. So you can do like positive self-talk is really great. You can just talk to yourself, like self-affirmations. So like before I did like a presentation, right, for Ironhack, or before I did the wedding, I sat in my car and I talked to myself. I was like, Emily, you are great. You are awesome. You're going to do great. This is just another performance for you. You're going to remember everything you need to remember. You practice, you're prepared. Just things like that might seem so stupid, like why would I ever do that? But it really helps you change your mental perspective. It's all about a mental shift. And practice rejection exercises if you're afraid to get rejected. A lot of people don't like rejection, naturally, right? Why would you want to be rejected? So I actually did a great exercise with one of my friends once. This was a few years ago, I think we were going in the, let's say like a fast food drive-thru, right? And she's like, yeah, we're going to do a rejection exercise. I was like, okay. So she went to the drive-thru and she ordered something and she's like, yeah, can I have an extra large fries for free? And the lady was like, no. And she was like, okay, thank you. And she drove up to the window, picked up the food, asked her again, can I have a large fries for free? And the lady was like, no. And she's like, okay, thank you. And that was it. Like, just practice getting rejected. There's things that you can do. Like, just, it helps you once in the real world, say if you get rejected for a job, right? She's like, okay, well, that wasn't the job, that was for me. The next one is going to come along. It was great practice. So that's really helpful. And there's tons that you can do in any sort of scenario. So prepare for this scenario through like role playing, right? So like I did with you, right? Introverts, especially, if you're nervous to go up to someone, you can look in the mirror, you can ask questions to yourself, pretend that you're doing, like with David would help you, just, asking questions. Just prepare yourself, right? Have the questions in your head, just be ready to go and do it. Visualize yourself in the situation. So you could like close your eyes and like take a deep breath and like, okay, now I'm at Pantry Cafe. I see how it looks. If you have to go scope out the scene beforehand, go do that if that makes you comfortable. It's like, okay, well I know this is to the left and this is to the right. I'm going to take the middle path because that's what I'm most comfortable with. And I'm going to go in the kitchen. And I'm going to like, just plan it out in your head, and so you can be ready for it. And then say yes to an uncomfortable situation. So like that wedding, that was very uncomfortable for me at first, but I said yes because I was like, okay, that's going to be my first one. That was a goal of mine this year to sing a wedding. And I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to be prepared, and I'm going to do it. There have been other days where I said yes, and I and I was playing with like big time people, and I felt like I wasn't ready. I was really nervous about it, but I just said yes, and you just go and do it. And even if you fail, you still did it. So you can learn from that situation, right? Like, I know they say here, like, fail fast, like, fail early, and that's when you can save time, money, whatever, in your creation. So those are some of the main things about fighting fear that I want to share with you. It's all about a mental shift, right? It's all in your head. And then once you sort of shift it in your mental, everything else changes. Learn about the person in front of you and find 5 things in common with them. Yes. So even if we don't get to finish with everybody, we can just do like 2 or 3 rounds. So you can get to know each other and just practice talking to people, interviewing them.